Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Checking the pulse of Husker Nation, brought to you by DPS Concrete Construction. And ladies and gentlemen, the Carriker Chronicles football camp as well. Got a major announcement before I dive into that. And if you're tuning in for that LEXI Rodriguez interview, just bear with us for a couple of minutes. I got to share this major announcement. And then she's going to join us, the former Husker legend, four-time All-American, current professional volleyball player for Love Volleyball in Omaha, will join us right after this major announcement. But first, if you want to show some love to all the volleyball greats, whether it's Lexi, whether it's Jordan Larson, Lindsey Krause, Ali Battenhorst, any of the former Huskers who are playing professional volleyball, and the four I just mentioned are all playing pro volleyball up in Omaha, whether it be Love Volleyball or the Omaha Supernovas. If you want to show them some love, Dani Busboom, the current Huskers as well, on that exciting Nebraska volleyball team. I can't wait to watch them. All right. With what Steve Sipple called his spring game replacement weekend, but they're going to be having their first match under Dani Busboom Kelly over that weekend as well to round out April. I believe it was April 26th. You want to show them some love, smash that like button. As always, Tuesday nights throughout the offseason, 6 p.m. on YouTube, 7 p.m. Central Time on social media. New Carriker Chronicles episodes drop each and every week. Any necessary gut reactions are always available at any point in time as well. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of the stuff we're putting out here. But here is the exciting major announcement. So I've talked about the Carriker Chronicles football camp. It's now live. You can now register. It's live. Where you can go to carrikerchronicles.com. There's a banner across the top, says register for the Carriker Chronicles football camp. There's a picture of Heisman Trophy winner Eric Crouch, College Football Hall of Famer, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer and two-time national champ, Amon Green, and yours truly as well. You can click on any of that stuff. All right, there's also in the menu bar, says football camp, several places. Click on it. It'll take you to our football camp page inside the website. You can read all the details. I'll share them with you here, and then you can register your K through 8th grader to have an amazing time, get better at football, and meet some legends such as Eric, such as Amon. Again, I'll be there as well for some reason. One more Husker legend, at least one more. Husker legend surprise is going to be joining us that camp as well. He's 90% in, so I can't promote him just yet. And if it doesn't work out with him, trust me, I've talked to plenty of other Husker legends. So at least one more Husker legend surprise will be there at the Carriker Chronicles football camp as well. But here's the aforementioned information that you need to know. July 9th, this summer, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. All right, at the LYF, Lincoln Youth Football Field. Shout out to Lincoln Youth Football. Shout out to LYF. The address is on the screen. Boys and girls, K through 8. Autographs are included. T-shirts are included. We already signed up my 9-year-old Dakota. All right, she was the first one to get registered. And so we know the registration also works on the website. So I'm pretty excited about this, pretty pumped up about this. This is something I've wanted to do for years. And I told my wife, Angie, if we ever move back to Nebraska, this is immediately one of the first things I want to do. So this thing, we thought about doing it last summer, but we were moving. 2 summers ago, I'm like, we're doing it. Okay. This thing's been in the works for 2 years. And here's what you're gonna find, what you're gonna expect. Your kids, whether they're new to the game or whether they're seasoned veterans, so to speak. Okay, if you want to learn the basics and fundamentals, you're going to get that here. If you want to take your game to the next level, I mean, you're talking about a Heisman winner, all-time leading rusher for the Packers, Hall of Famer. Another Husker legends are going to be there. Again, I'm wandering around for some reason. If you're looking for your kid to take their game to the next level, develop at a quick rate, and or just have a blast, have a fun time, those are all the things you can expect at the Carriker Chronicles football camp. All right. Let's go to that interview with LEXI Rodriguez. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, I'd like to bring on our special guest, a professional volleyball player / libero for Love Volleyball in Omaha. She's also a 4-time All-American, Nebraska's all-time career leader in digs, and she was a finalist for the AVCA National Player of the Year, Miss LEXI Rodriguez. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you taking the time. Now, this first question, I like to have fun. Okay. So keep that in mind when I ask this. But John Cook put this out there. So I have to ask you. He said he was hesitant to recruit you at first because he thought you were too short, which if you do a little digging, sounds kind of crazy because you won 2 state titles in high school, set the career record for digs. You were named the Illinois Gatorade Player of the Year. But I got to know, what was your reaction when you first heard Coach Cook admit that?
Well, it wasn't a complete shocker or surprise. I knew throughout the recruiting process with Nebraska that Kayla Banworth was there, and I could kind of guess that it was mostly her that was, telling him to go with me or whatever, recruit me,
Yeah.
whatever it
Yeah.
was. But I always thought that story was pretty funny.
I think it worked out all right for everyone involved.
Yeah,
All
me
right.
too.
Yeah. During your time with the Huskers, you played in Final Fours, competed for in national championship matches. What do you think has made Nebraska volleyball so good for so long?
Oh gosh. I mean, got to give credit to the person who's been behind a lot of the success in Coach Cook
Hmm.
and just his philosophies and his standards and culture. I mean, I think, you got to start at the top and then you have your assistant coaches and your players and everything like that. But year after year, he's produced amazing Final Four teams. And I think it's just a huge credit to him. Like he has built his foundation and has stuck with it throughout his whole entire coaching career and has just done really well with all the amazing athletes that have came through Nebraska.
Now, you obviously had a great career at Nebraska. We're going to get into your pro career here in a second, but started for 4 years, did a lot of awesome things. What are some of your favorite memories or things that stick out? For me, people ask me, like, the losses stick out to me as much as the wins for me personally, but some of the things that stick out to you from your career.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things. I think right off the bat, obviously getting to play in two national championships, super cool experience. Even just being in the Final Four
Mhm.
is just so much fun, and to get to experience that with a new team and just doing that different years is obviously of what you want to accomplish every single year, but just getting there itself feels like an accomplishment. So those years that we made it were always super, super fun. And then obviously Memorial Stadium game
Yeah.
is definitely at the top there. I think just such a cool environment and cool experience to be a part of, and something I'll never forget, probably ever. And then lastly, I would just say the rivalries. I think, the rivalries with Wisconsin and Texas and other teams in the Big Ten. I think it just like builds the game up and gets more people involved. And it's fun to be competitive and to have like strong rivalries with other teams.
All right. I saw something last year I thought I would never see. I saw John Cook on TikTok.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
how did that come about? And I know he did a bunch with Harper Murray. Did you do some with him as well? And actually, Dani Busboom Kelly just did her first TikTok with
I
Harper and Harper did
saw.
hers. How did this come about? And I don't know, what were your thoughts when you saw some of these things?
Yeah, I mean, this new group of people that there's juniors now, but when they first came in as freshmen, Harper's class, that's part of their life. It's a big part of their life is
Mhm.
just social media and getting to connect with people like that. And I think finally, even though we tried as well, I think that that new class coming in, he really wanted to like bond with them, and that was his way of like doing it. He was like, "Okay, like I'll do a TikTok with Harper," and it kind of just like it blew up, and then he was like, "Man, I'm viral. I'm famous." And it just kind of became this like ongoing joke, and Harper would come up with ideas and she would have me or Merritt do them with all of them, but it was pretty much Harper's thing. Like Harper kind of started it and carried it on throughout the season, but I mean, I think it just shows he's always trying to like evolve with his players and with the game. And that was just another like um kind of what am I trying to say? Another example of like how he was able to do that and just kind of relate to them and what they're used to.
Yeah, the natural evolution of a good coach.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it too. So you kind of mentioned some of your teammates and maybe that freshman class is now juniors. But I'm always curious to ask this: who were some of your teammates that had some of the most unique personalities, whether they were funny or whatever the case may be?
Oh gosh, so many. I could name literally so many. Honestly, like one of my best friends, but Kennedy Orr, I think you kind of watch her and she kind of just has this like calm, like mature, like she's like holding herself together. but she's actually one of like the funniest teammates and just like has such a great sense of humor and always brings light and laughter to whatever team she's a part of. But I think she like brought that every single day to practice and honestly was so much fun to play with. Um, Besides that, oh, there's so many like people who are just full of energy. I mean, you have Rebecca Alec, Lainey Choboy, like just full of so much energy, and it's really fun to play alongside them just because they're gonna chest bump you till you're like on the ground or like run around the court. And I always think those people are fun to play with. But yeah, everyone's just so unique and fun. But that's what's great about just a team sport.
Talk to me about someone like Harper Murray, who's obviously an excellent player. People aren't always kind, especially on the internet. So when you see someone like that who has some challenges as well as obviously some successes, but you were a team leader, a veteran, I'm sure in her eyes, how would you try to help her through some of those things?
Yeah, I mean, I think wasn't just me, but she had a lot of different help to try and like manage those things and to overcome some of those things. And I mean, Merritt, along with myself, just really tried to, be someone she could lean on and be someone she could come to if she needed help or advice or anything like that. And I honestly think just kudos to her because she like just would take it as it is and then just like try and learn and grow from it. And you could really see just how much she was like growing from everything every time she stepped on the court, her interactions with her teammates and the coaches and everything like that. And so I mean, I really just tried to be someone that she could go to and someone who she trusted. But honestly, it was a lot of her own doing.
All right, real quick, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors for the show here. DPS Concrete Construction, you can check them out at dpsconstruction.net. Retaining wall work, concrete work, they do a phenomenal job. And I've mentioned it before, Jason Armstrong is a friend of mine. He's the owner. There's going to be other businesses that of his that are doing very, very well that we're going to talk about on this show as well. All right, I also want to give a shout out to Allen Capital Group. They've got offices in all over the place now. Grand Island, Omaha, Scotts Bluff as well, but they're all over the place. They do my family's finances. They've done it for over a decade. And there's nothing that puts your mind at ease more than knowing that your family's finances are in the hands of people that are intelligent, have integrity, and they're going to do a good job for you. Check them out at allencapgroup.com. That's ALLENCAP group.com. They have next level solutions for next level needs. All right. When you found out that John Cook was retiring, was that a surprise? What was your reaction when you heard that?
I was very, very surprised. I He's just had such an amazing coaching career that I think no matter when the time would have came, it would have been a shock to me. But I did think he was gonna try and stick it out with that class that I was talking about of Harper, Andy, Berg, and Laney. So yeah, I was very, very surprised, but he's had an amazing career and he deserves to just have some time with his family and just be a cowboy.
I love that. It was obviously well thought out, well planned. He announces his retirement shortly after Dani Busboom Kelly's announced as the coach. I don't know how familiar you are with her, but what do you know of her and what are your thoughts on her being Nebraska's next head coach?
Yeah, I honestly couldn't think of anyone better to take over Coach Cook's, legacy and history at Nebraska. One, she played at Nebraska, so she kind of has all that history within her and knows kind of the way of the ropes for everything. And also just seeing what she did at Louisville and how she was able to, in her short time there, able to make them a Final Four team year after
Mhm.
year. And I think that's something really hard to do in college volleyball, and she was able to do it. And lastly, just she's a female head coach, and I think that's awesome. So I'm just super excited to continue watching and continue to follow where Nebraska volleyball goes.
Now it's exciting because there's high expectations. She obviously has the resume, like you said. She understands Nebraska volleyball. She's from the state of Nebraska. High expectations. She's even admitted she's a little bit nervous. Sometimes that can create um, pressure. I don't know if that's the right word, but how do you think she'll handle the expectations and or the pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know from a coaching's standpoint. I've always
Mhm.
been the player, but I think you just gotta like lean on those people around you. And she has an amazing assistant coaching staff that I think will kind of help her help the team kind of settle in and manage those expectations and that pressure. But honestly, she's probably had some expectations these past few years just because of well she how well she has coached the teams at Louisville. So I feel like she's definitely prepared and she'll be just fine with the group of girls and the staff that she has.
You know the upcoming Nebraska volleyball team probably as well as anybody that there is. What do you think fans can expect from the Huskers next season?
Oh wow. I mean, I just think they're like the people on that team, there's so much depth. There's so many amazing athletes. And I think on top of the returners getting a lot better in the off season, I think I don't know much about the freshman class, but I have a feeling there's going to be more fan favorites and just even more like energy and competitiveness within the group that they have this year. So I think they're going to be they might be some underdogs at times, but I think they're going to do amazing and just compete their butts off, honestly.
All right, you are in the midst of, dare I say, a rookie professional
Mm.
season, your first professional volleyball season. All right, how's that been so far for you?
It's been great. Definitely crazy. I'm in Louisville in the Final Four, and then like a week and a half later, I'm back in Nebraska
Yep.
gladly, but on a whole new team, a whole new part of my volleyball career, and so definitely a big life change, but it's been awesome. And I think the team and the people that I'm surrounded by have really helped me kind of dive into this process and just try and get better each and every day.
Yeah, talk about no off season whatsoever. Oh my goodness. Would you have like 10 days off, maybe something like that? That's crazy.
Yeah, around there.
Has there been any rookie hazing? Has there been any of that?
Oh no, no, no.
No.
They're awesome. Great group of girls.
All right. Talk to me about Jordan Larson. It's a kind of a two-part question. All right. As a coach, what was she like as a coach? 10 days later, she's your teammate. What's that like?
Yeah, I mean, number one asked question for sure. But I mean, getting to play with her has been awesome. Obviously, as a coach, she just taught me personally, but I know she was such a mentor for our entire team the past 2 years. And just hearing how she sees the game and the advice she has for all of us, but I'm going to speak mostly about myself and just her feedback was something that I was always so like grateful for. And I just wanted to learn and think the way she did. And she was able to kind of give us that and give myself that when she was our coach. And then like becoming her teammate and just seeing what she was saying, but now she's like doing it herself was really also helpful, but just so cool. Like someone who can say these things and say how they read the game, and then you like get to be alongside them and watch them actually do it. And I think it's been helpful for me just to continue to learn and expand my game at the professional level to have, the goat of volleyball right in front of my eyes and to be able to learn from her every day has been awesome.
All right. There's a lot of other former Huskers that are playing pro volleyball, whether it be on your team or the other team there in Omaha as well, which actually leads me to my last question because I sat down and I'm like, there's not a whole lot of cities in America that have two pro sports teams in the same pro sport in the same city. New York, over time, New York, LA, Chicago, and now Omaha. Omaha has two professional volleyball teams. In your opinion, what is it about volleyball in this great state here in Nebraska that makes people so passionate about it?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, obviously, Nebraska volleyball, I feel like, has kind of set the standard. And I mean, you go back even like 20 years, and the fan base for Nebraska volleyball was still the same as it is. And just the love and the passion that they have is, I feel like, long lasting. And no matter where you go, there's always Husker fans. And I feel like now, like, Creighton's a also a Final Four program, and they have done amazing things for the sport of volleyball. So I think just having those two high level collegiate teams has really just excited the fan base. And now it's like it's the heart of Nebraska. I mean, you can't take that away. So I feel like it's always going to be a volleyball state.
Well, good luck with the rest of your season. I appreciate you taking the time to join me. Real quick for the fans, for continued off-season coverage, and not just football, but we're talking Nebraska women's basketball. They're headed to the NCAA tournament. The wrestling team, they're going to nationals later this week as well. And if you want continued off-season Husker football coverage, check out CarrikerChronicles.com. It's probably Husker sports hopes and dreams will come true. It's just science, ladies and gentlemen. But I got 3 questions for you fine folks at home. Let me know your answer in the comments below. Not to put any pressure on the team, but number 1, will Nebraska volleyball win it all next year? Number 2, Nebraska women's basketball. Will they mollywop and or just beat Louisville this Friday in the NCAA tournament? And a football question. Deion Sanders wants to play the spring game against another team, and he wants to have joint practices, NFL-like, leading up to it. I love it. What are your thoughts on that? Let me know your answer in the comments below. Until next time, go Big Red. And always remember...
Throw the bones.